Welcome to our third week of Jake's Holiday Bakes. This is my friend Jason. I wanted to invite him on because today's recipe is one of my very favorites. It's nice and spicy, and it's full of ginger, and I know that he can never turn down ginger. He loves it so much. Jason, thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, Jake. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here.
Are you ready to bake?
I am ready. Let's get to it.
Okay. Do you want an apron or anything?
No, I think I'm okay.
Okay. I do have one thing for you.
Okay.
Because I don't want you to get messy. You are going to be Santa's helper today.
I'm not wearing that.
Oh. All right, Jason. This is the greatest recipe because it's super simple. There's just a few little tricks. One of the differences between gingerbread and all other sorts of dessert breads or cakes is that you use melted butter. It's one of the only ones that uses melted butter. The ingredients are super simple. We have just regular flour. We have some ground ginger, baking powder, cinnamon, cloves, baking soda, molasses, and brown sugar. These are the basic ingredients. Oh, and he loves gingers. Ginger mini chips. These are actually crystallized ginger that's been cut down a lot. After that, we have all of our ingredients. Now we get to do sort of the special mixture of it all. Jason, I'm gonna have you do your first thing, and I need 2/3 cups of water.
Excellent.
And now what we're going to do with this is actually pop it in the microwave for just a few minutes. We need to get it boiling because this is going to melt the butter and also the molasses so that everything comes together, because if not, the molasses can get very sticky. The molasses and the butter will not melt and become homogeneous with the rest of it. So I'm going to get this and get to the boiling. Alrighty, so now that we have the water heated up to boiling, we want to measure out the butter and also the molasses. We're going to use 2/3 cup of molasses. So if you want to go ahead, I believe, here you go. Yeah, go ahead and pour that right into the boiling water.
Oh my gosh, that smells
It's
amazing.
super, super thick. I always find the smell of molasses a little bit weird because it doesn't smell the way it ends up tasting.
I love it. I like it on crackers.
Who hurt you? So we're going to add the 2/3 cup of that. We need to add 2/3 cup. That was perfect.
Right?
Brown sugar. That's like weirdly perfect. And then 4 tablespoons of butter. So while you're grabbing that, I'm gonna I'll get you a spoon for that to get that measured out with. 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, gingerbread requires a lot of sugar to offset that spiciness. There we go. All right, if you would like, I would really appreciate. Go ahead and stir that until the butter is nice and melted. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna get the dry ingredients together.
Okay.
So I got a big bowl here. And for the dry ingredients, I want 1 teaspoon of baking soda and baking powder. This is one of my favorite things to bake, especially when it's cold outside, because it has such a strong scent that it just completely gets the whole house deliciously smelling.
I bet.
So that was the 1 teaspoon baking soda, and we need a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. There's that. All right. And like a 1/2 teaspoon salt. I usually just grab a pinch of it, like a heavy pinch. Salt, especially in more spiced desserts, is required because all of those spices need that salt to pull them out a little bit more. Now, if you wouldn't mind handing me the flour, I'll get my flour in here. 1.5 cups of flour. Do you do a lot of baking in your spare time? I know you're a chemist, right?
Actually, part of the reason I was excited to come on the show is I'm not actually a good baker.
You're a chemist. Baking is chemistry.
It's my day job, so I like to come home and cook, actually.
That's why I'm terrible with computers in my off time. I just lose it. Okay, so we're going to add the spices in here. A lot of recipes cut back on spices for sort of hit the middle of the road palate. I like a lot more spice, so I use 2 teaspoons, hefty teaspoons rounded, of cinnamon. And I even usually don't even measure it out, only because I can tell by sight at this point how much we need.
But if you wanted to, you could cut back the amount of spice.
You could definitely cut back the spice, just depending on how much you like, who you're creating it for. Sometimes kids don't really like that spiciness of these warming spices, so I just cut it back. And I just put in a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. Cloves is a really, really powerful spice, so I always pull those way back. So
Okay.
for 1 teaspoon cinnamon, usually about a 1/4 teaspoon of clove, because clove will overpower everything.
Okay.
And then if you could hand me the ginger, about 1 teaspoon of ginger. This wouldn't be gingerbread without ginger, right? And the cool thing is we're going to use 2 forms of ginger.
Okay.
I'm going to use this powdered ginger, which is pretty good, but we want to kick this up to being just like the most delicious gingerbread ever. Can I have our Chemical X, our crystallized ginger
This
chips?
stuff is awesome.
It's amazing. If you want to scoot over just a little bit, I'm going to have to chop these up a little bit more finely.
Oh, this way.
Yes, the other way. So I'm going to use just like a 1/4 cup of this. So I'm going to pour these in here and do this and grab a knife just to get these nicely cut up. Now that we have all of these basic dry ingredients, I want to add anything anything that's going to be like a bigger chunk, and if you're going to add fruit or anything like that, you want to coat them in your dry ingredients before you...
Why would you put fruit in dessert?
I don't know. Some people do it.
That
Some
seems
people
unholy.
don't like that. Okay, I'm going to chop these up. These are our sort of crystallized ginger chips. Sometimes they come out a little too big, and we want them to be finer because we want them to be dispersed all throughout the entire cake. While we do this, can you go ahead and check to see if our liquid has cooled to almost room temperature? It can still be warm. We just don't want it to be boiling hot still.
No, it's warm. It's good.
It's warm?
Yep.
Awesome. If you want to go ahead, and there's an egg right here. Crack that egg into there.
Into the dry ingredients or the
Into the wet ingredients. And then stir that up really well. We don't want the egg to cook.
Like a pro.
Like a pro. I had a guest on here the other week that actually really struggled with that, so I'm really happy
Really?
you're really good.
What happened?
Yeah. So pour the yolk in the other.
Oh no!
Oh no! It's like he had never seen an egg before. So I have these. These are a lot finer than they were before. I'm gonna toss these in here.
Got a scoop full of ginger.
So is that all mixed up now too?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. I'm gonna just toss this around and get this nicely coated. Make sure all of my ginger is really coated because we want that ginger to be suspended within it and not sink all to the bottom. If you don't coat that ginger in the flour, it's gonna go straight to the bottom and sink.
Okay.
And go ahead and pour those wet ingredients right in the middle.
All at once?
Yep.
Like skadoosh?
Skadoosh. There we go. So I'm gonna have you go ahead and stir this up for me.
Stir, stir, stir.
And you don't want to over mix this, but you do need to get this really nicely mixed together. So try to not have too many lumps, but it's basically as soon as you get rid of all the lumps, stop.
What happens if I overmix it?
If you overmix it, you're going to overdevelop the gluten and become a more tough cake instead of that really beautifully just like fall apart cake.
So Christmas is ruined.
I got these really, really cute gift tins, essentially. They're just really cute little paper ones so I can give these to you. So when you leave today, you can take these home with you.
Yes.
And you want to cook these on a pan because it's a little bit easier to control grabbing 3 of these out of the oven.
Good.
Yeah, that looks perfect. Yes. So I'm just gonna, and these are nice. They're waxed inside essentially, so we're not gonna have any problems with it. And we're gonna fill these up halfway each.
You said they're pre-waxed?
They are. They're already good to go. So then these can be taken home and thrown away as soon as you're done with it too.
Halfway?
Yep, about halfway.
So you're a glass half full kind of guy?
Mm-hmm. Good.
Not
I'm just kidding.
cool
It's
at
okay.
all.
It's okay. You've already ruined Christmas, so what's there to lose? Kwanzaa? Okay. Go ahead. And the last one, just scrape it all out. If it's a little bit less, we'll give it to you. These are gonna go in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes until they spring back to touch. They might have a little bit of a dip in the middle because there's technically supposed to be a cake, so a little bit smaller, but I like cooking these up as bread because they're just so good.
Could you do this in like a 9x13? Or...
Oh yeah, definitely. These could be made just like brownies essentially.
Like if I don't want to share with anybody?
Exactly. Exactly. If you just want to grab a fork and dive in. So I'm going to toss these in 350, 30 to 45 minutes.
Cool.
All right, so we got our gingerbread done, and I've pulled it out of the oven. I'm going to check to make sure. We'll show you how to tell if it's baked or not. So when it pulls out of the oven, you want to see how it's springy, but it springs back to touch. It doesn't like sink back down. That's perfect. So our little mini one baked just fine. Alrighty.
Can we call him Tiny Tim?
Yes, Tiny Tim. Okay, so now we just need to either ice them or not. I like icing on my gingerbread, but I've heard that you don't.
I don't like icing on my gingerbread.
But if you do, I want to show you how to make it, just in case you decide to be fun with your life and do it. So I'm gonna go ahead. It's gonna take about a tablespoon of butter, and then go ahead and pour me out a cup of not milk, but of powdered sugar. This is going to be a mostly powdered sugar glaze. I like to have it set up really nice and hard. That way it actually like protects the gingerbread.
Does it?
Yeah, from drying out. From drying out.
Oh, from drying out.
Yeah, that's what most icings are for anyway. They were originally, the purpose was to keep it from drying out and staling. Okay. Do you want to just add about, starting with a half tablespoon amount of milk.
Okay.
Add that in.
Does it make a difference if you use whole milk or 2% or?
For yes and no. I think you get a weirder flavor with like skim milk and things like that, but you can use it if you want. I think since you're already making dessert, just go with whole milk. Keep going. We want to get this to be a nice consistency.
How much more do you want?
I want to get up to like 2 tablespoons at least. We need it to be able to be like poured on essentially.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I lost count.
Well, that was 4. Good thing that I was counting, chemist. But that's one more thing of that's good. We are actually good after this one.
You want this one?
No.
Okay.
Drink that. That's for you.
With
See,
all the baking powder, baking soda that was on there.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna add a tiny smidge. Are you good?
I'm good.
A tiny smidge of vanilla to give it a nice flavor. And that's gonna give it right to this consistency that I want. Almost pourable. That's good. I like to get this frosting really, really bright white. So I actually get some gel food coloring for bright white. So I just put a few drops in there. It helps it to keep it just really, really white. It almost looks like paint when you put it in.
Like white out.
Yeah. But you mix it in and it lightens it up some. So I'm gonna go ahead and glaze one of these. I'm gonna keep yours glaze free.
Thank you. To be fair, I like mine with just heavy cream over the top of it.
And you know what? It takes all types of people to go around this world. Some of them are wrong, but it's okay. And you can see it's really pretty. Oh, that looks so good. And you want to make sure these are nice and cool too before you do this, or else you're going to have a little bit of a mess on your hands. The nice thing is with it, when they're glazed too, you don't have to wrap these up in anything, because that glaze sort of protects it from the elements that occur in your kitchen, like rain, water, sleet, drought, famine. And there you go. See? It's so much prettier glaze.
That looks fantastic.
Alrighty. I think it's time to taste these. Are you okay with that?
I am definitely ready for that.
Okay.
That's the best part.
Alrighty. There you go. I want icing. Because I love myself.
Oh, it smells amazing.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for baking with me.
That's delicious.
I love that the crystallized ginger gives it a really nice depth of flavor.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Might as well give it a shot.
This is so good. The molasses is so good in there.
Got a little something there.
Probably. There you have it. Warm, delicious, spicy gingerbread, fresh from the oven and ready to give to all of your friends. Thank you so much, Jason, for coming and baking with me today. It's a pleasure to share the kitchen with you.
Thank you, Jake. I had a lot of fun.
Good. Did you learn something at all?
I learned nothing, but this was still a good time.
Well, good. We'll have to have you back on next time so you can learn a little bit. Thank you guys so much for joining in the kitchen again. This is only week 3 of Jake Bakes Holiday Bakes. So join us next week and we'll kick off the fun again. Remember to share, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you here next week. Thanks.
Cut me a piece of that.
So good. So good.